Today we are going to cover Maya as a user interface and kind of just basics, okay? And so the first and foremost thing, when you open Maya, there's a lot of stuff going on. In all reality, most people don't use all parts of Maya. They use either the modeling part if they're a modeler, or they use texturing, or if they use, animation, they'll use specific parts. And so to understand that means you don't have to understand everything about it right off the bat. Focus on what you're doing at the moment. Maya's got some preset stuff. So if you look here, there's a pull down up in the corner, and that basically allows you to choose whether you're going to do rigging or whether you're going to choose FX or things like that. Now, it doesn't really change the interface, but what it does do is change the menu system up here. Now, for the most part, the menu system itself is pretty easily accessible. If you hold the space bar down, it will give you every single aspect of that menu. So all the menus put together, this is what they are. And they're broken into different categories. So you can see here's the basics, here's shading and lighting, here's editable mesh, here's skeletons, so on and so forth, okay? And if you release spacebar, all goes away. Now, with that in mind, basically you have the interface here, and if you want to work in orthographic views, which beginners usually do, all you have to do is tap the spacebar. Tapping the spacebar gives you different presets, so it's perspective, front, side, top. You also notice that there's a couple of things that we want to pay attention to. So the first thing is the outliner. The outliner is everything in the scene. So I'm going to just create a object real quick here, and you'll notice that as soon as I do, there is something called pcube1, and basically it brings up a menu system over here, and it brings up a lot of information that you just don't necessarily need, but this is what you've got. So to understand this, pcube is the box that you created, and in pcube basically there is different sections. So we're in the attribute section, and in the attribute section there's different tabs. So the pcube, this is the translations, the limitations, things like that. For the most part, we don't ever really use that. However, you can rename this to just cube, and once you do, it'll rename it in the outline. The next part is in this section. You can see that it has basically tessellations, smoothing, mesh controls, and things like that. Again, we can go in there and monkey with things, but for the most part, we don't really need to go in here and do much. Third tab here, third tab is actually where we do a lot of the initial stuff with it. So this here, we can control the width, we can control the height, and so on and so forth. We can also control subdivisions. So here we can basically add more subdivisions to something, and more subdivisions, and so on. So that gives you the idea of like what you can do with something. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the originals. The next part is basically the shading group, and right now it has a default shader to it, and that basically is a standard surface material, and so on and so forth. So it gives you the basics. Now that's just the shader. The next tab, however, is the shader surface, and that's all the properties in the shader itself. So here we got specularity, we have color. So if we want to change the color, we can change the color here. So ultimately this is all set and done in all of these pieces. And again, I'm not going into each individual thing, but I'm just letting you know where it's at. And anytime you do something to an object, it basically creates a historical state. So if I'm going to right click and go to face mode and select the face, and then hold move tool and shift, and I'll get to this in a second, you'll notice that it creates a extrude polyface, and it gives you all the numbers for it and things like that. We can have subdivisions, we can do other things with this. So ultimately this creates that kind of tool set and everything we do, so that controls it. So now if you go back, you'll notice that there is a poly extrude face, and then we can control exactly everything that we need with it. All right, and so these are just with just the basics tools. How did I do all this? I'm going to just delete this to start from scratch, and we're going to make a change to the settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to create, I'm going to go to polygon here, and I'm going to make sure this box is checked, interactive creation. If it's not checked, that basically means when you create something like a box, it will automatically create a predefined size, predefined shape, and it basically kills your workflow. I'm going to just delete this. Again, go to create, go to your object that you want, and make sure interactive creation is checked. And so you'll notice that when it's checked, I can go and create a box, and I can draw on the grid and lift it up. So it's a series of clicks. Every shape is a little bit different. So this does the radius, and then this does the height. So again, very simple. Now, with that in mind, everything that you can access here these are the shortcut keys you can also access up here. Now that we've got the creation done, we can simply say create a cube and create that object like so. Now, with that idea in mind, we can manipulate these. Now, if you hold right click, you'll get sub-object level. So at this point, this is objects. Objects are whole items. Okay, you can also have, down the road, you can also have multiple objects in one object. So we can attach things and put them together, but further down on the list of tutorials here. So once I have an object, I can right click on it and I control the vertex, the edge, object mode, which is going backwards. I can work with the UVs. I can go into the face mode, and then it gives me a whole bunch of little things I can put here. Okay. So if you want to grab an edge, you go to edge, you select an edge, and then here's the hotkeys. W, E, R. So W is move, E is rotate, R is scale. And so from there, I can scale, I can move, and I can rotate. Okay, I'm going to just undo the rotate. It doesn't look good. Then if I want to go back out, I can go in the object level and go out. There is a pivot point. This pivot point allows you to rotate and move the object as a whole. So that allows you to go in there. Now I'm going to hit the spacebar, and if I hit the spacebar in here in the side view, it'll zoom into the side view. Click it again, go back. Click it again, go into the perspective. So I can rotate an object here. I can move an object back and forth. So I can create objects and set up a scene really quick. Now, when you start working, you'll have a lot of cubes and spheres and things like that. Name everything. And then what we can do is we can go to another tab. So I'm just going to create some random objects here, just so you can see. And there we go. Look, a donut. And so now I've got 3 objects in the scene. And you'll notice it's cube, sphere, and torus. Okay. So with these objects, these are my attribute editors in the attribute editor. Okay. There's also the box here. This is the channel layer box. So what this allows me to do is sort things. So if I'm building a car and I want to hide the tires, or if I'm building a house and I want to hide just the windows, I can layer things. So to do that, you have to basically add a layer. Now, when I have a layer, what happens is nothing is assigned to layer. So this is my visibility. This is not my visibility. So if I want to add objects to layer, most of your commands here are done through Shift or Control or Alt. Okay, so Shift will allow me to add another object. Control will allow me to subtract an object. Okay, so I can grab these 2 objects, and then if I want to navigate around the scene, I can hold Alt, and I can use the left click button on the mouse. I can hold Alt, and I can zoom in and out. I can also zoom in and out with the scroll wheel. And I can hold Alt and the middlemost button click down, and I can pan around. With that idea in mind, say I want these 2 objects to be part of this layer, I just simply right click on this, add selected objects, and I'm done. Now you'll see in the layer, it has so on and so forth. So with that idea in mind, there's a couple things that I can do. I can 1, hide things or show them. I can 2, freeze them. So over here, the third box is the freezing transformation. T is just the wireframe. R is the rendered version. So once those are selected, I can't select them again. And then removing that will get rid of it. So basically these objects, these are the two things that I'm going to pay attention to. So if I'm building a car and I just want some building blocks there until I get everything set to go, I can put something in a layer and freeze just the tires and work around them. So with that idea, I can hide them, show them, so on and so forth. Now this original box is still not in a layer. So if I want to create another layer, I can then go to this layer and right click and add selected objects. Now, same thing here, not there. Okay. Now, if I double click, I will get basically the layer and I can name it what I want and I can make it visible. I can hide it on playback, that type of thing. So I'm going to just hit save here. And so now I have a box and I can control said box. Now, if I want to move layers up and down, I can just simply the layer tool here. So I can move these up and down, so on and so forth. Now, the next thing is you'll see that there's a modeling tool section. So in the modeling tool section, you'll see a lot of the natural components that you use for modeling. They're right there. You can click the buttons. I'm not going to go into a modeling tutorial, but they're there. However, the other thing I can do is I can shift right click and I can get most of those objects right at the menu level. So I don't need to go all the way over here, shift right click, and then I can use the multi-cut tool, or I can mirror things, or I can do all things like that. That's mostly the interface that we use when we're modeling, or if you're doing some type of animation and things like that. I'm not going to go into the animation menus too much. This is more to get you started in the modeling. But ultimately, each one of these tabs has different parts. So like this is keyframes and things like that, ghosting. This is the UVs for editing. This is the Arnold aspects, so your Arnold lights and things like that, all of which you can access through these menus here. For the most part, get used to the file, get used to the edit, the create, modify, display, and windows. Most of these tools are all up here. Otherwise, you can again hit spacebar and they're all here. So I can go to Windows and I can go into, say, the general editors or the preferences, and I can manipulate the preferences as well. Okay, so these are ultimately ideas that you can do. Now, if you want a different layout, they are available here, and you can use these as a layout. If you want to render or work in materials, so these are the materials up here, and you can basically open the Hypershade editor and work with it accordingly. Again, the Hypershade editor is broken into a couple parts. Basically, these are your material groups, the shaders in the group, and then if you want to work with something, you basically grab a shader and click it, and it will bring it over here. So these are all kind of standard shaders, surfaces, and things like that. So with that idea in mind, and then your collection of materials is up here. So basically you relabel it, it'll relabel it up here, and then you can kind of play around with it. So that gives you a base object of how to create things. If you're rendering, you have your render settings up here, and then again, you can scroll down and read through the render settings. Basically, those are all elements that you want to work with and you want to create with. So with that idea in mind, that's the basic interface. If you're moving around, again, you can make sure that you're just basically using the left click button. You can zoom in, you can middle mouse click, and you can even zoom in with the right click here. So same concept, it's just a little bit more smoother with the right click button. If you're working in an object, again, right click face, grabbing a face, you're moving in 3D. That's the biggest struggle I think a lot of students have when they're working, is they're working in 3D and then they start rotating things from an object level and it gets kind of wonky to work with. So when you work with an object, make sure you don't rotate it until you're done modeling it, and then adjust it and move it accordingly. Because now if I'm trying to like move things in directions and things like that, it has some issues. Now, if you want to go into settings, you can double click on a tool that will bring up your settings for that particular tool. Often settings that are used are like soft selection. Soft selection basically allows you to grab multiple parts, and you can turn that on and off. You can control different features. If you're using rotate, a common one that we use is basically snapping. So if we go relative snapping, we can angle things by 90 degrees or 45 or 10, so on and so forth. We can turn that off. And then the same thing for scale here is, again, soft selection and moving things around. Again, I'm not going through each individual item. I'm just giving you a rough idea of where things are. If here is a timeline, this is for animation, and we can control most of our animation done through these tools here. We don't, unless you're in an animation class, you're generally not using that very much. That's the gist of using the interface for Maya, really quick and down and dirty kind of version of it. If you have questions, feel free to ask. And other than that, I hope you have a great day.